Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Scorpio. If Scorpio is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, knock, 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 and let's see what do these tea leaves have to say. All right, so this whole area is pretty clean. It looks like we have a bit of whatever's going on this side, it's heavy, right? A lot of energy, unbalanced possibly. Okay. Now the card that I pulled is the Devil, or Pan. Okay, Devil / Pan in the Thoth tradition. The Thoth, in the Thoth deck, the system brought to us by the beloved Crowley, right? And so this is not your typical, depiction of the devil as we think of him usually. This is kind of a trickster, kind of a forest spirit, one of merriment, festivities, maybe partaking in some libations or other plant medicines. Also just really uninhibited and not constrained by the social mores, conditionings, kind of throwing off those shackles. Maybe not all the time, but at least during this time, right? And we have some really lovely images in this bowl, I have to say. And I'm going to start with, we're going to go over this way. We have the little heart. Whenever I see a heart, I try to get, as I say that, we have 2 hearts. 1 and 2. Okay? Both in these emotional places. I believe that, there's some kind of love affair going on. You, Scorpio, love to be in love. I mean, that's just the truth, whatever truth means. But in my humble opinion, I think a Scorpio is born to be in love, born to also, be tormented by love, and lament parts of their love life or relationships. Definitely a solid partner. In a Scorpio, you all are very, attentive, intense emotions. So intelligent, creative. I mean, just very enchanting. But you also can be a little bit moody. And I see, whoever this is in your life, there are some amount of, I feel like there's kind of maybe sometimes breaking up, separations, arguments, not talking, kind of shifting back and forth. I feel like in this relationship, you are often the person that gets babied a little bit. And let me just say, shout out to my husband. Neither of us are Scorpios. I'm a Virgo. He's a Cancer. But, shout out to my husband. He babies me because I am the emotional one. But yeah, I think that sometimes you can get a little sensitive, standoffish, and that's all right. The thing that I think is amazing about you, Scorpio, is that you are who you are. You feel how you feel and you let that come out. You do what you must for yourself. sometimes you maybe look back on some of the things you've decided to do and realize maybe that wasn't the best decision. But in the moment, you did what you thought was going to benefit you in a lasting way. Not in like a narcissistic way, but in a way that really deeply, will help benefit your overall progress. Okay? Sometimes, though, a little bit of self-sabotage. Okay? But, I think that you are more and more conscious of these things. All right, let's see, what else do we have? And I'm looking at this one up here. It looks like some kind of, we have a magical being with a little pointy hat here, kind of pointing over here. There's a heart above and a person. And I'm trying to see, like, what are they doing? It makes me almost think like you're outside with a duck. Maybe you're at the lake in an outdoor area. Whatever it is, I feel that you're very connected with this like deep, it's like the ancient forest spirits, right? Like the green man, the nymphs. I was going to say dyads, but I think those are oceanic. But these, is it dryads or dyads? I don't know. I'm sorry. Somebody tell me in the comments, because one of you will know and you will correct me, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Whatever it is, you have this beautiful, sometimes scary and grotesque forest spirit, ancient, old, primitive, primordial, everlasting, just on the cusp of madness, right? Outside of what we consider obvious morals, ethics. You think of these bacchanalian type parties of madness, eating raw meat and drinking until, excess, and lovemaking and terror and violence and just ecstasy and all these kinds of feelings. And this is that kind of deep summer energy. Okay, and I'm not saying you have to partake in any of these things. I watched this personally, just in the nature around me. Today I watched a spider hunt a fly. It missed it. But, it just reminds you of the fact that there's just no, there's no real rules out there. The things that we consider barbaric in nature, it just is what it is. Things do what they do to survive. And, of course it's important that we have social roles, right? It might be complete chaos if not. But, I think within reason and in a controlled way, when we get into those deeper parts of our psyche where things just are untangled, wild, just kind of living off of that kind of reptilian brain, that survival-y thing, but also within, that very borderland kind of, it's like the feeling of tsunami, right? Just destruction. But then after, the water recedes and everything has been laid to waste, then suddenly there are these little sprouts of plants growing up through the wreckage, right? Reaching up for the sun, and life begins again. And it's, you know, over time things become forgotten and dissolve away into the earth, and the cycle goes on and on and on. And so I think that, you know, you're very activate. I really believe that right now, though, honestly, although there are feelings of like absolute delight, there's like a lushness to love and lust here. There's also just this perfect alignment to be creating deep magic in your own life. I think there's an openness to the mysteries. I think that you have that feeling of wonder. Kind of like if you could imagine going out at dusk and you're standing in a field, everything is that velvety green. It's a little bit humid still. The bugs are out. Everything's kind of humming. And the fireflies start going off. And it's such an intoxicating feeling to be there, surrounded by pulsating life. And I think that, you know, when you are in that place, when it's like honey dripping out of your mouth, you know, your eyes are full of stars. This is when you create something magical. Manifest those things. Make those wishes, those appeals, those prayers. Do something with it. Don't waste it. Don't just succumb in splendering in it, which is wonderful too, of course, but do something with it. Okay, so I want to look at this one. You might have seen this when I first started, and I was like, how am I going to get to this? What's going on here? We have the skull with the mouth wide open. Oh, just terror. Right? Feels like a scary movie. But I think that this is not that. This is it's the thrill. It's the thrill of knowing that everything is finite. It's both finite and infinite all at the same time. Right? I mean, when you get into a heightened feeling of almost kind of like, hypomania, mania, being just enthralled, overstimulated by life, but not in a way that is too, it feels bad. Not necessarily sensory overload where you just have anxiety and you're shutting down, but you are ripe with experience, receptive, your heart and mind are open to it, but you're just pushing to that edge of terror, of destruction. And I think that's fun. It's fun, but save it for the roller coasters, save it for the haunted houses, these kinds of things. Adrenaline junkie, like go, zip line or whatever. That to me, that's like real, like over the top even. But the reckless behaviors, risky behaviors, you have to temper yourself in those. You have to remember yourself. Pump the brakes when you're getting to the point where it's like, okay, the wheels might fall off here. Just be aware. Be aware that thing is always about. That thing that just, and the lights are off. Right? Switch turned off. We're fragile. Some of us hanging by a thread. So we must, you know, take care. And be aware. Just be aware. And, you know, especially if you are doing any of these kinds of going out, having fun, please, you know, be mindful. Of course, don't drive if you're under the influence. Stay hydrated. Let people know where you're at. If you have somebody you can go out with them. You know, just be safe. Okay, and now we have a boat that looks like the moon. Looks like a beautiful crescent. We have, oh, this winged creature. I don't know. Is this our devil? I think of that, the Owl and the Pussycat poem. Look that up. I love that poem. It's really cute. They go off to get married. They get in their little boat and they sail away. I think you are in, you know, you're in this lunar, almost kind of surreal headspace, but you are out there in the unconscious, on that unconscious ocean. Perfect time. Once again, I'm saying, manifesting that magic, pulling things out of the abstract, bringing them into manifestation, creating beautiful art, new aesthetics. You know, I think it's so rare that we feel so stimulated and motivated to do things, that, you know, sometimes when we're creating, it just, you know, we try the whole thing, setting everything up perfectly, making sure we have all the things that we like feel like are going to make us feel, you know, creative, all the right pens and the right papers and the temperature's right, the right music's on, we slept enough, you know, just everything in alignment. And it just feels like treachery to get it done. But then there's other times you wake up, hey, I don't need to bathe. I don't need to, you know, I don't even need my coffee today. I just feel like I am in the zone. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to bang it out, you know, and you're just sailing. Wings open, you know. And I think that just this little shift out of the regular configuration, regular mindset, that's where you're at. It's just flowing through you. And, you know, I feel like the big thing to mention just is, you know, managing how much you let this kind of go, right? How pan are you gonna go, right? Just because, you know, like, not unlike the story of Pan, we can get to a point where we get a little too unraveled. We spiral out a little too much. The come down, the crash, you know, the following depressive feelings or melancholy, these kinds of things. It can be intense. Okay, so we have to be mindful of how we take care of ourselves. Try to maintain routines where you can, of course. You know, don't do anything that you wouldn't do under normal circumstances. Make good decisions. If you feel like you're going to make it a decision that is somewhat risky, check in with your support systems, your support person, support people. And I talk about this sometimes in my readings. Again, and I should say it on everyone. I'm not a psychiatrist. I am not licensed. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychoanalyst. I'm nobody in mental health. I'm just a person who's had a lot of therapy myself. So I do speak in these terms often. I am quite a devotee of Jung. I am a magical practitioner, but that does not mean that I know much of anything about anything. I am here to share what I see, what I feel, take it with a grain of salt, And I had somebody comment that was like, oh, a fortune teller shouldn't be talking about analysis. Like, I don't, whatever I don't know, is she, he, whatever. Okay. I don't know what to say to that. Like, this is how I experience the world. And so I'm telling you, whatever. This is for entertainment. This is the kind of stuff that comes into my mind because it's what I know, from my own experience, what I've experienced. So anyhow, support people, support systems. If you ever do need support people, I think it's important to have a crisis plan. And I'm always going to bring these things up when they fit, because I think it's important for everybody. You don't have to be an addict. You don't have to have mental health issues. You don't have to identify with any of those things. But having a crisis plan is important, just like if you live in an area where you have tornadoes, earthquakes, natural kind of disaster-y things. You should have some idea of what to do when it happens, right? So we should have crisis plans. And these are kind of just lists of things that, people that you want to call. What would you do in case of? And you write this out. You can Google it. There are like templates for it. Okay. I think that everybody should have one. So anyways, that's my little 2 cents about that. So just, be mindful of this energy that is coming through your life right now. It feels really good. At some point you're gonna kind of wind down back to reality, right? Okay. So just be ready for that. That's all I'm saying. Okay, let's see. I'm going to hurry up here. Now, I'm seeing a tooth on either side. So something with a tooth. I think that this is interesting. I feel like during this journey, somebody who seems out of the norm, somebody you don't really talk to that much, maybe even somebody you just briefly meet, they are going to drop some wisdom on you. Okay, they're going to give you a little nugget of good information about life. So keep your ears out. And I think that's what this little tooth is. It's that wisdom. They're going to teach you something. And you're going to be just in the right place to hear it. And it's going to be very timely for you. Okay? All right. Let's look over here real quick. Okay, heart again. Now, because we have some of the water, I feel that what is happening is that you have to walk a fine line, especially if you are in a committed relationship or you have somebody that really is close to you. I feel like when you get into these places where you're feeling way more social, festive, a little more loose, getting into creative spaces, you can have a tendency to not communicate well. You can maybe be a little agitated, short, whatever. Or when you do want to communicate and they're not receptive in that moment, you can, kind of just blow them off for a while. So just really, again, with the tempering, how you are manifesting this feeling, how you are existing within this energy that is in your life right now. And, just making sure that you, treat those you love well, treat yourself well. I also think that a new piece of jewelry is going to be coming into your life, or you're going to find something. And I think it will be perfect to capture the spirit of this moment. I don't know what it'll be, but you'll know when you see it and you should get it. Hopefully, if you're cheap like I am, it'll be like some little $3 thing from a flea market that's very special and maybe haunted. All right. I want to thank you so much, Scorpio. I am always so honored to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it is helping us get into the algorithm and grow the channel. We're just about to hit 10K subscribers. So I want to thank all of you for real, for real. I really, I just can't describe to you how much I love all of you. You are just so sweet. And if you haven't subscribed, please think about doing so. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos come out. If you want to leave a comment, I read all of them. I try to get to them as quickly as I can. Sometimes it takes me a minute, but I do get to them. So I want to thank you again, and we will talk again really soon, Scorpio.